Great. Good morning, everyone. It's June 3rd, 2024, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, 9:30 Mountain, 8:30 Pacific time. And this is AMCC's weekly national call. We do this every non-holiday Monday. I'm Matt Bogosian, Executive Director of AMCC. And you know David Van Sicklen, our Operations Director. And we have lots of regional and national ecosystem leaders all working together to strengthen American manufacturing and the American project. For those of you who are new, and we have some folks here at the University of Michigan who are here and participating for the first time, AMCC is a national nonprofit organization designated by the federal government as the nation's manufacturing community of practice. All that means is that we continue doing the good hard work we've been doing for 10 years as a free open source group providing connected tissue for regional leaders from all kinds of public, private, nonprofit works who find common cause by working together to make 21st century manufacturing the cornerstone of the American economy. You might I don't know if anybody saw the CNN special last night, but Jake Tapper did a special about the D-Day invasion 80 years ago. And I'm bringing it up because they were talking about the regression of democracy. You know, we have some existential threats in America, and that's one of them, governance. You know, we got autocrats and dictators, you know, challenging the democratic project, and we got to prove that it works, and that's a team sport. And you, me, we're all part of that team. So that's what these calls are about. How do we build a broad-based prosperity with manufacturing as the cornerstone? The good news is that if we do it right, we can also better mitigate and adapt to other existential crises like pandemics, climate change, making smarter products that solve problems and improve the human condition. These calls are 30 minutes every week when we talk about regional ecosystems and support manufacturers need to thrive. And it's very cool here, and we're going to hear about it in a bit from our partners here at the University of Michigan, but we've been with manufacturers all morning, hearing about the needs of manufacturers here in Michigan. And they really do need an ecosystem of support. It's just, it's a message we hear over and over again, and brings great value to us and doing these AMCC roadshows to hear directly from manufacturers. We talk a lot about the big six, of course, the key component parts of a thriving regional ecosystem. They all need to be working sufficiently for regions to thrive. As David said, please put your name and affiliation in chat, and you know, chat with one another. You know, put info about meetings, events, reports, things that are going to add value to regional manufacturing ecosystems across the country. Before today, it's great because we're here at the University of Michigan and we're going to hear from some of our colleagues. But before we do that, I like to highlight a couple of things from the other weekly thing we do, which is put out the AMCC update newsletter. And that is packed with all kinds of info every week, thanks to you. And many of you provide us information that we put in there that we would otherwise not have on our own. So please keep that info coming. Both these calls and the AMCC update newsletter are free, open source. So share it with your networks, use it, participate in these calls, no strings attached. You can contact me or David if you have any questions about any of that. So before I introduce our folks here in Michigan to talk about their good hard work and strengthening manufacturing here, I want to highlight a couple of things from the update that went out this last weekend. Hats off to our friends in Louisiana for putting on a great, co-creating a great regional roadshow down there. Chad and company very exciting to see the emerging technologies of clean energy, biotech, defense, and agriculture in Louisiana and the Lafayette area. Thank you for your hospitality. We can only expect more good things. So if you're in any of those fields, clean energy, biotech, defense, and agriculture, our friends in Louisiana have a lot to share, and would love hearing from you in those spaces. Also in the AMCC update is information about this thing called the National Resiliency Plan. Now, it sounds wonky or whatever, but I think it's really important. The federal government gave FEMA the job to put together this National Resiliency Plan, and and we made some comments about it. But it's for all the federal government. And it gets at manufacturing because they talk about preparing for, all of these, not just pandemics, but, intense weather events, more frequent, all these disruptions, and our economic engine is manufacturing. So we need to be better prepared to withstand those shocks and bounce back. And so I'm wondering, we have, our advanced national advanced manufacturing strategy. Don Ufford, who's often on these calls at NIST, was worked with the White House in putting that together. I wonder if that's being crosswalked with this new resiliency plan, because it ought to be, right? Because if our economy is going to bounce back with these challenging events, manufacturing's got to be a big part of that bounce back. So anyway, check that out. I think that's very useful for all of us in our regions. Also, check out that map. We put it in the AMCC update last week too, this DOE map of heat pump manufacturers. I mean, you talk about a specific technology that can really save money, make money for manufacturers. Also, reducing greenhouse gases and criteria pollutants. Also, there's some good information on there. You can see what's happening on heat pumps in your neck of the woods on that map. So that's really a good, useful resource. Anyway, the AMCC update every week has lots more. David goes through and updates the grant opportunities in there. We have articles and reports too. On the merits of place-based investing, on brownfields. I can tell you all about that from my EPA experience, the importance of brownfields for site development and infrastructure. A great tool in there by our International Trade Administration and critical minerals. Anyway, lots of info, but I want to cut that off because I want to introduce our speakers here. First up is Ashley Brittner, is Managing Director of the Economic Growth Institute here at the University of Michigan. And Ashley and Stephanie Ludwig, the Director of Industry Programs, have been great partners in putting on this AMCC Roadshow Day here in Ann Arbor. We're very grateful for their teamwork, and even more excited about the next steps as we work with Michigan to see how they are going to strengthen manufacturing. Could be a good example to compare to other state interventions along the way. So Ashley, can I turn it to you? Tell us a little bit about EGI, the day's events, and the grant, that you've gotten several grants: Build Back Better Regional Challenge, Good Jobs Challenge. Let me turn it to you, Ashley.
Sure, great. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Can I see a thumbs up from someone? Okay, perfect. Great. Yeah, many of our ecosystem partners here in Michigan are all in the room together. Hopefully you can maybe see it on the owl on Matt's screen there. So we've had a great morning already. We brought about 15 manufacturers that we work with on a regular basis through some of our supply chain support programs and technical assistance programs, together to talk about where their needs and challenges are in the ICE to EV transition that many of them are facing or are going to be facing. And also, you know, we know firsthand that many of these manufacturers, their time is obviously very, very valuable. So we wanted to make sure that not only were we learning from them around their needs, but we're also connecting them to some of the resources that both the Economic Growth Institute here at the University of Michigan, but many of our ecosystem partners also have to offer to support them. And also our federal and state partners also. So it's been a great morning so far. I'll just give you the kind of 20,000 foot view. For those that don't know the Economic Growth Institute at the University of Michigan, we are a outward facing unit here at the university where we are not new. We've been around here for over 40 years now, and have a tremendous history in leveraging the resources of the university and our ecosystem here in the state of Michigan to support supply chains, particularly our small to medium sized manufacturers, the communities where they all reside, and then ultimately also our workforce, which is foundational to manufacturing and community success from an economic development perspective. So we take a applied boots on the ground approach. Our team is out there every day as they are today, working with companies and communities throughout the state. We do, as you mentioned, Matt, have quite a few different programs right now available to support companies and communities. For example, we are part of the Build Back Better Regional Challenge Award that came here to the Greater Detroit region, also known as the Global Epicenter of Mobility. So with many partners, we are working to support advanced mobility here in the Southeast Michigan, Greater Detroit region. We, for example, have the pillar that specifically is focusing on helping small to medium-sized manufacturers think about their future in the electric vehicle markets or otherwise, as we know some of them, or majority of them, will hopefully make the transition from internal combustion engine supply chains to EV, but not all of them will make that change. We know there's 30% less components, which means that there's going to be less suppliers needed. So helping them to diversify, remain resilient, so that we have a strong, thriving economy here in the state. And then also our other larger award, which I do have a couple slides on. I'm going to share my screen. So for those on the call, I'm curious if you can drop a reaction or drop it in the chat. How many other defense manufacturing community designations we have here on the call? I don't think we're alone. And we are one of the newer designations. So just last fall, the university in partnership with many partners that thankfully I have with me in the room here today, and welcome them to join in the conversation too. We were designated the Michigan Defense Resiliency Consortium. This is a defense manufacturing community designation through the Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation at the Federal Department of Defense. I'll skip through this part here. But this kind of shows just our ecosystem here in Michigan related to the Economic Growth Institute's activity. While we are in Southeast Michigan, in much of manufacturing here in the state is in Southeast Michigan, there is a tremendous amount of manufacturing and very valuable supply chain partners across the state. So this map here just shows some of our recent project activity within the last few years. But our activity, along with our partners to support our defense manufacturing community, is statewide. So our designation is technically for the whole state of Michigan, and we're thankful for that. Because as you can see here, this slide is a little bit of an eyesore, so I'm not going to go through it line by line, but the state of Michigan has made some significant investments here in the last few years, in addition to our manufacturing partners, to make sure that we are growing a strong ecosystem around energy storage and battery manufacturing to support the future of electrification. Many of you know, the automotive capital of the world has always been here in the state of Michigan. And it's important that for our economy that we remain that leader in the automotive sector, even into the future of electrification and beyond. So you'll see some of the major investments here made both by public and private sector that really helped us to make sure that when we spoke to the opportunity here to get to apply for the defense manufacturing community designation, that we had a holistic set of resources that are here that have an opportunity to be further built out in the state of Michigan. So like I mentioned, just last fall, we are a new defense designated manufacturing community and partnership with our consortium members. We really have kind of four components. I'll just speak to very high level. The Economic Growth Institute here is mapping all of the energy storage and battery assets across the state of Michigan. There are many commercial investments we know that are being made, but not all of that is translating to being resources for the Department of Defense. So we want to make sure we are fully aware of what those resources are to support the DoD. Our technology acceleration pillar is supported and led by Centropolis Accelerator, and they are helping companies to advance their energy storage and battery technology. Component 3, in partnership with the Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center, we are supporting providing technical assistance to manufacturers in the energy storage and battery sector to help them become more efficient and effective. To make sure that at the end of the day, we know sometimes doing defense contracting can be tricky for small businesses. But if we can help them to become more efficient, effective, improve their cash flow, to make some of these more these investments necessary on the front end to do defense contracting, that is our goal with that component. And then our workforce development partners, MXD, is also co-leading our workforce development pillar with SAE Government Technologies, and they will be developing a series of certifications in workforce development solutions, in an EV hiring guide, lots of valuable resources that we're hoping our manufacturing partners and defense partners will take advantage of. So that's kind of the very quick version of our defense manufacturing community, but happy to answer any questions. In our contact information here, Stephanie is here with me today, who runs that program, who is our director of industry programs.
So we have many folks that are on the call that are part of defense communities. So this is a good place to come every Monday and share your information and get connected to those folks. Can you talk, you also have gotten some other grants and these things overlap with one another. How are you, what are those EDA grants and how are you navigating the overlap?
Yeah, I mean, we're careful, obviously, first and foremost, when we write the scopes of our proposals that the actual resources provided don't overlap in that sense. But what we are careful to do is make sure that we are holistically addressing the needs of particularly of the companies and manufacturers that we support. So while a manufacturer may enter one of our programs for a particular set of needs, our project management team is well aware of the suite of resources that we and many of our partners have available. And it's important that our team develops those trusted relationships where we can continuously be a resource for companies that have additional needs. So, we're careful to not make sure we're not duplicating efforts, but that we are holistically serving the needs of the manufacturers and making sure that, many of our small to medium-sized manufacturers, capacity is their biggest challenge with navigating this ecosystem and the resources available. So if we can help build that capacity for them through these programs is our goal.
Ashley, Jim had a question about whether or not you were connected to this, the Navy's talent pipeline program.
I am aware of it. Actually here, at the university, we worked with, the DoD for, well, many years, but the Economic Growth Institute has worked with them for, 15 plus years. I'm aware of it, but we are not directly engaged, I would say that.
Questions for Ashley or Stephanie about their defense manufacturing community program or their battery lab or their economic growth institute? Lots is going on here. It's very exciting to have them in the AMCC fold. Undoubtedly, we're going to learn a lot from the good work that they're doing, and vice versa. Yeah, Jim, go ahead.
Too much to type. So quick question. In addition to managing the manufacturing alliance here, I also manage the Smart Energy Initiative. And one of the things we're starting to see is a pushback, especially in the EV world, because our country's infrastructure can't handle the electrification by some of the deadlines the local and national government has given us. I've read recently we need to put up 10,000 miles a month of high voltage lines in order to meet the demand. Our local distribution, PJM, which handles 7 or 9 states, I forget, is not looking at any new projects for generation until after 2026. Are you seeing that with your partners?
I would say not directly yet. I'm hearing the same thing you're hearing, definitely, in terms of the infrastructure needs. But for example, with our supply chain transformation center, we had a goal to serve X number of companies. Our team has definitely blown that goal out of the water in terms of the number of companies that they're serving right now. They're doing a great job doing outreach, particularly to companies in historically excluded communities, and making sure that we're reaching the far reaches of the state to get to all of these companies. So the need is still there. These companies also, I think where they see the opportunity is like I said, that capacity building piece, right? Maybe the timeline may be extended out further as to when they need to make that transition. They're all being really smart and proactive and trying to take advantage of the resources that are available to them now. So I definitely 100% hear the same thing you are, Jim. But in terms of activity from companies, in terms of leveraging resources that are available, we see these, our manufacturing partners are really smart in taking advantage of them while they're here.
Actually, I see Jeremy Evans on our call from Department of Energy. And my question is really about industrial assessment centers. So what, if any, interaction do you have with industrial assessment centers? And I don't know, Jeremy, are you guys expanding? Is Michigan going to be one of those hubs, or where is that? Yeah.
Yeah, I can speak to, so at the University of Michigan, we don't say this too often, but we are partnering with our partners at Michigan State University, who are currently the only industrial assessment center in the state of Michigan right now. And we have a working relationship with them. They are aware of our programs for companies that they're supporting through their assessments. We are aware of their resources, and we're working to be those referral partners back and forth. But also looking hopefully to expand some of those capabilities and in that partnership even further with some open opportunities.
And this is Jeremy. Yeah, I can just add that we've had a few solicitations recently to expand the center network, especially with community colleges, union training programs, trade schools, and then also some of the auto industry focused work that Ashley was alluding to. And we do anticipate upcoming additional efforts to expand the network. And also the centers get recompeted every 5 years. And so some of the university, I think the last round of the university-based one was 2021. So there are a number of upcoming opportunities over the coming months and years related to that program, and would encourage folks to make sure they're on the sort of blast list for the Office of Manufacturing and Energy Supply Chains here, where that gets posted out. Although I know, Matt, you all are very good about getting the word out to the network as well. But I'll put the link in chat.
Great. Thanks so much, Jeremy. Yeah, we only have a couple of minutes left. Oh, Buckley's got a question. Hey, Buckley, hello from Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
The other side of the river. So, Ashley, what have you found most effective from your consortium reaching out to small and medium manufacturers and getting them engaged with the defense supply chain?
Great question. So I would say our most effective outreach tools are our referral partner network. You know, we have a deep history of working with many partners here across the state. Our local state level Department of Labor, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, a lot of the county level partners, and making them aware of the resources available, because many of them are working with these companies in different capacities than we are. They have been a tremendous resource in getting the word out about these resources available. We do lots of other marketing, you know, and outreach and engagement to get companies aware of the resources, attending trade shows and events that they're going to be at, the companies, but those referral partners are really our most effective way of getting the word out.
Actually, in the time that we have, I was just curious, what other states around the country, what regions around the country, however you want to call it, you know, are you guys looking at in terms of, you know, learning from, engaging with, collaborating with on EV, you know, technologies? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, naturally for us, where we're located, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, there's many collaborations there. Some of them we work with in programs we run today. We run a tri-state model through the Great Lakes Trade Adjustment Assistance Center here. It's an EDA funded program that's been in existence for over 30 years. Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana, we're working together, but also watching what they're doing. I'd say on the workforce development side also, you know, we're tracking things going on the West Coast, but also in New York. You know, there's some new interesting models being run there that we're just looking to see effectively how they work, to see what can we leverage from what they've learned. Yeah, and maybe make sure that we leverage those learnings in what we're doing here too.
Great. Thank you again, Ashley and Stephanie, for your leadership and teamwork. One of the secrets to our call being so successful for so long is that we keep it right at 30 minutes. And because people are doers in this group, they get stuff done and they're very busy and they have valuable time. We appreciate it very much. And so one of the things on running through the update that I forgot to mention, you know, we had a 48C workshop here with a Department of Treasury official talking about that tax credit. That's also information that we're going to be putting out in the AMCC update. Just wanted to draw everybody's attention to that too, because there's a deadline coming up on June 22nd for that. But there's one of the tax credits, 48C, has a limit on it, but the other one is unlimited. So I didn't realize that till today. So that is an incredible opportunity for our manufacturers around the country. Anyway, just wanted to remind you about that. So thanks again. We will hope everybody has a good week. We will see you next week. And that's it for this week's AMCC call.